Good afternoon, my name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again, and we are going to be looking at the game that's just finished at Goodison Park. It finished Everton 1, Arsenal 0, only our second league defeat of the season. Very, very disappointing performance. We are going to look back on that, dissect the performance and see where we go moving forward. This is all coming up the other side of this.
Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it.
So, good afternoon, welcome to the show, and joining us is, of course, our regular on the channel, Melvin. How are you doing, my friend? Not the greatest Arsenal performance today, was it, unfortunately?
No, I thought started off first 10-15 minutes, we were doing all right. Didn't take any chances or look like to take any chances. A bit of deja vu. I thought I'm watching a game from a few years ago, really, with a crowd. Every time we touched the ball, they booed us. Don't know why, but that's Everton for you. They do that. I've noticed that over the years. They're the only non-stop booing. And we played some lovely football first half, in the first 20 minutes. And yet they kept just booing. They couldn't, I don't know if they don't realise what football is or what, I don't know. But for us, the manager, after 20 minutes, the tide changed. You could see the way they got through us. They were making too many chances. In fact, they made more chances than most teams against us. It was Route 1 football, crossing it, Route 1 football, but it was effective, and they should have had at least a couple of goals before half time, and yet we never changed it. I spoke to a couple of guys at half time, and we both all agreed that the three changes had to be made at half time. I would have taken this is going to upset people. Eddie off. I thought there's no point in playing against two centre halves. We need to play more nimble forward. I'd have taken him off and brought Trossard on, but either played Trossard in the middle or Martinelli and switched them. Just let them play fluidly like Jesus and Martinelli play. I would have taken Ben White on because they got too much down that left-hand side. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ben White's been playing brilliant all season, but there's something lacking with him. I don't know what it is. There is something definitely lacking. He's giving the ball away. He's letting people go past him. He's giving away cheap corners and stuff like that. That's number two. And the other one was, where are we? My God. It was Martinelli stop us. Who else was it? My brain's gone, it's fried at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was that sort of game, wasn't it? I mean, in a way, I mean, you said, didn't you, before it was a throwback, or it felt like a throwback to a few years. It did. Sean Dyche managing against Arsenal, he's done that to us a few times. They basically bullied us, didn't they? They bullied us all over the pitch.
Yeah. I think it was. Sorry to interrupt, Richard. I think it was being Jovino on for. Was it Xhaka? For Xhaka, yeah. Because I thought we needed more up front, and Jovino, though Xhaka I thought he had a good game. I thought that final ball wasn't getting him. I thought we needed him for a final ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To be fair, it wasn't the best time to be playing Everton, was it? The new manager just come in, Sean Dyche. We know what he's like. We know how they were going to play today, and they were bang up for it. The crowd were up for it. And I kind of had bad vibes about this game. Early kickoff in the Northwest. Historically, that's never generally gone well. We've got a poor record at Goodison at the best of times and in recent years. And I just felt everything was against us before we started. And the performance in the end, we started pretty well. But we allowed Everton to dictate the way they wanted to play that game. You know, they worked really hard, to be fair. Their midfield three were brilliant and didn't give us time on the ball. And they basically pushed us out of our stride a little bit, really, which, you know, we need to be able to cope with that, because we're going to have a lot of games now between now and the end of the season where teams are going to do that, because they know if you give us time on the ball, we are going to pick you off and we're going to win the games, because that's what we've done so far this season. And, you know, you have to give Everton credit as well. I thought they, you know, the work that Sean Dyche has done in a short space of time, you could see quite clearly the difference in this Everton team to how they've been playing for the last 3 or 4 months under Frank Lampard. And it's unfortunately it was us that came up on the wrong side of it, you know. And I mean, I thought the substitutions, I mean, 10 minutes to go, he brings Tomiyasu on for Ben White. And yeah, Ben White was having a crap game again, another crap game for him. And maybe that could have been done earlier. But when you need a goal in the last 10 minutes, why are we bringing on a right back? It doesn't make sense. You know, why are we not trying to bring on a more attacking-minded player, or at least change the system to be more attacking to try to get the goal? It's just like we want to play that same way. And it wasn't working. It hadn't worked for 85 minutes. Why did anybody think it was going to work in the last 10 minutes by making that one change?
I think why he brought Tommy on, the only thing I could think of when he did it, I thought might be the only reason is that he didn't want to, though we were going for a goal, he felt down the left they're getting so much product, Everton, that they can like nick another one. So I just thought he wanted to.
Yeah, but I'd rather lose 2-0 trying to win a game than lose 1-0 and not appear to be. I'm not saying we didn't try to get something from the game. Just we've got Lee actually with us as well. How you doing, Lee? All right? After that performance.
No, crap week, Rich. I was hoping today would liven up my mood. Sorry, I was late, by the way. I was having a few technical issues, just forwarding your link to my email and having issues there. But no, it was. It was a flashback. I don't know what you guys have been saying to previous performances. Yeah. For me, it's almost like we are really good. We're a great team. We're a great football team. But it's like we're turning up at Everton, and we're hoping just to play a normal football, and the result will look after itself, right? And it kind of the old, you've got to earn the right to win. It wasn't snappy enough, was it? But the football was there. We were doing our normal side to side and looking to open up. We weren't matching them for aggression. Obviously, that's not our forte, especially in the midfield. So we never really got going. I mean, we had very few chances. I know that the shooting. Oh my God, the shooting was unbelievable. We did have some good chances. I mean, Eddie in the first half, that was a real decent chance. The pull back for Odegaard, a great chance. The Zinchenko one was a bit more difficult, but this is I don't know where I'd go far to say world class players for Zinchenko, but he's got great technical ability, but just getting under the ball and skying it. And as I say, it was just we just got off. I think as I joined Rich, he was talking about Ben White. It looked like he'd been standing in a nightclub at 4 a.m. He just didn't look with it. Didn't look snappy enough.
It was the same against Man City, wasn't he? In the last game.
Exactly the same.
Game before that as well against Man United.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with him. Is he injured? Has he got some sort of issue? He's not at his best at all. And maybe it's time to give him a lick completely and put Tomiyasu in from the start.
I think so. I don't think it's a knee-jerk reaction. He just don't look mentally with it. He just don't look switched on and at it. No. I mean, that kind of game, right? We're never going to be, you look back to the old Man United side back in the day, like the Beckham, the Giggs. They got stuck in and they got into the game early doors, and you're kind of making it easy for the other team because they're just, especially their what's his name, the defender up against Saka. Saka got very little change out of him. Mikalenko. Yeah, he was.
And again, you see, that's 2 games in a row, isn't it? Against Man City in the Cup, Nathan Ake kept Saka really quiet. Today, Mikalenko kept Saka quiet. We're seeing Ben White off form. Is it that they played too many? Have they played too many games? We didn't have the squad earlier in the season to change it. Now we've got a few more options. Do we need to start making some change? It was the same starting 11 again, even though we've now got a stronger squad. Are we having overplayed some of these players? And is it now starting to come in on us all at one time? And maybe we need to start rotating this more. I think looking at this game today, the last couple of performances as well of certain players, they just seem a little bit off their game. And
a little bit off their game. And too many of them, Rich. It's just like it's just that it's that I'd say 5%, but it looks more like 10%, doesn't it? Ben White looks, I don't know.
It probably isn't. It probably is only small margins. It's only very, very small margins.
It is.
And in the Premier League, you don't get away with that, unfortunately.
Don't get away with it, no.
So both of you saying about Saka, sorry, gentlemen, I think first half, apart from his snatching, like the whole team was snatching at chances.
Yeah.
Couldn't hit a barn door. But I thought Saka played well first half. I thought he was the only guy that looked like he was going to do something. he was getting past his back. But the final bit of the move just was he had no one to give it to.
Yeah,
but the amount of time he retained the ball and gave it a position. I thought he was our best player first half.
Yeah, I think he set really high standards, Melvin. Right, so you're right.
Yeah.
He's an outlet out there. You get him the ball. He very rarely loses it. He'll cut inside. But it was just that spark where he'd give it and get it back, and we get into the box. Just the final ball. Same with, I mean, we are quite, as we used to say, we play flicky. We like to flick it on the edge of the box with Odegaard into Saka. That wasn't just weren't working today. That was off. And as Rich said when I joined, when that starts happening, then what? We have no other way to turn to, and that's the problem.
This has been. I mean, we spoke about this for quite a long time about a different plan B, if you like. You know, plan A has been brilliant this season. There's been no doubt about that. But there are going to be occasions when plan A isn't working against a certain opposition in a certain game, as it wasn't today. And we've got to have something else to win the game. You know, Manchester City will change one or two things if they're losing a game, and they can come back and get a result. And we don't seem able to do that. And now we've got the squad to do it. We made the substitution. Jorginho came on. I thought he did okay. You know, he played it simple. He did the simple stuff. He did it okay. I thought he played well. You know, Trossard was maybe not as good as he played in the previous game, but at least he was prepared to run at people. He wanted to be positive, didn't he, when he had the ball?
Yeah,
so that
he did.
was a decent substitution to bring on. You know, two of our new players come on and done well. You know, Odegaard today was very, very weak. He was weak for the goal. He was physically weak throughout. How he's captain, I don't know. Xhaka is captain of this team, and he should be given the armband. It's ridiculous that Martin Odegaard. He gets off nearly every game, Martin Odegaard, because he just runs out of steam. He's not physically strong enough to cope. And today he just got pushed all over the pitch. What's his name? A nine in midfield for Everton. What a performance he put in, by the way. And that's the sort of midfield player that we need. We needed someone like that, don't we? Who can boss that game. Thomas Partey today wasn't fit, I don't think.
No,
he didn't look himself.
He didn't look it. Which is why he come off early doors. No, you're right. I mean, Martinelli. Odegaard. I mean, on his day, he looks unbelievable. But it's almost like, I mean, he's fantastic on the ball. He kind of, it's like he's trying to keep hold of the ball too long. Do you know? He's trying to turn left, turn right, and I'm like, just release it. You're not as strong as that player, but who's clearly trying to push you over. But he's just keeping it, and it's just draining him strength. Just give the ball, pass the ball.
I think the turning point for Odegaard in today's game was that you're right when you say he held on to the ball in one instance too long. And I think the guy must have snapped at his ankles about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he did.
He got a knock from that.
He did. Exactly, spot on.
And that was after that, you didn't see a lot of him. And
no,
it was number one. Yeah, he shouldn't have held on to the ball, Lee. Right.
Yeah.
The other time, the referee could have blown up a lot earlier because the geezer just keep putting his stuff.
Exactly. But Melvin, they're not going to blow up. That's the thing. And you think where he was? We both spot. He was deep in his own half, trying to keep it. The bloke had 3 bites at him, right? So on the second bite, he should have got a pass laid off.
The ball. Yeah, you've got to get rid of the ball. Yeah.
2 things are going to happen. The first thing is he's going to get a bad foul, right? He's going to stand on his boot, whatever he did. And the second thing, he's going to give the ball away, right? So just give it. Don't try. It's almost like he's trying to say to the bloke, look, and he's probably grown up being miles better than any footballer he's ever played with. So he's probably thinking, well, you can try and foul me, but I'm going to turn this way and that way and keep the ball. But it's not the wrong thing to do. Release it.
That shows a little bit of a lack of maturity, doesn't it, from a player? You know, in those situations, you're absolutely right. You get he's at you once, you think, okay, I'll shrug him off. He's at you again, get rid of the ball, and then the problem's gone. We keep possession, we move up the pitch.
Problem's gone. Yeah, exactly, Rich.
And it's a little bit lack of maturity, maybe. And it's not just Odegaard. And you're right, Odegaard on the ball is fantastic. If he's given a little bit of time, he will absolutely kill anybody. You know, but today he wasn't given time. They targeted him. They targeted Saka. They targeted our key players, and it was a game plan that we needed to be able to deal. We're going to have to deal with this because this is going to happen in a lot more games this season. We'll be playing a lot of teams fighting for their life that are going to do everything they can to put us out of our rhythm. We've got to find a way to deal with that. Was really, really poor, I thought.
Question for you two. Explain to me, please. We've got 3 big centre halves in the back 4, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Odegaard marking their centre half?
Yeah, for the corner. I mean, it's laughable, isn't it?
That was crazy.
That is Hackney Marshes, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
as Rich said, who's the weakest player? I'm just scanning around our team now. The weakest is Odegaard. Clearly, physically, you're a centre half, right? He was marking him. It wasn't like there was no gap between them. He just went right at the last minute. He's just gone, yeah, thanks, I'll have that.
Bang, yeah, bang.
Yeah.
And another thing, and perhaps I'm being
dreadful.
too critical here, because I said it to someone the other night. I wasn't speaking to someone about, I said we've got a very strong bench. I'm putting out who's in the first 11 against the bench. And I actually said, and perhaps I'm being, as I say, too critical here, but with their goal, I think our second goalkeeper would have taken that. He would have come off his line and commanded his 6-yard box.
It was quite close, wasn't it? It was inside the 6-yard box, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying,
yeah.
Richard. The amount of times you see Ramsdale on his line going like that, not necessarily in a goal, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Why don't he come off his line, for God's sake?
If
he's on his line, he gets done on his line by the forwards as well. If he comes off his line, he's got more chance. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No,
is it because maybe he flapped at that corner against Man United, didn't he? And maybe that was that on his mind a little bit. He was a bit unsure.
First time he stayed on his line, Richard. I'm sorry, it's not the first time.
No, you're right. It's not the first time. No, I don't know whether that's
Richard's right. It's the most recent. It's the most recent. We had a right flap up. But as you say, if you're a defender, even if you're a big defender, you still don't want to defend that ball. You're waiting for your keeper to come out, Melvin, as you say, to come out and just go. He's got a 2-foot advantage. Thanks very much. That's all he needs to do.
And he's got protection.
And he's got protection. So come out and claim, and it's not a goal. You're leaving it, and then we've ended up in a situation with Odegaard.
But ultimately, you're right, Melvin. You're 100% right. Why is Odegaard marking Tarkowski at that corner? Why? It should be Gabriel should have been marking him, because he was the danger man from that situation, because he's a very strong. He's strong in the air, isn't he? We've seen that so many times. It was crazy to put Martin Odegaard to be marking him in that situation. It could have been either Saliba or I would have gone Gabriel. Gabriel's physically stronger. He would have dealt with that. Yeah.
Or White. We got 3, as Melvin said. We have 3. We don't have 2. We have 3 big lads at the back, don't we?
And to leave Martin Odegaard to mark their biggest threat from that set piece was it was, and we paid the ultimate price, because Everton weren't going to score other than that. Well, let's be honest, they gave everything today. They worked so hard, but they were never ever going to score a proper goal, a normal goal in open play. They're just not good enough. They just worked hard today, and that's what got them the result. And just a really bad defensive decision from us.
Apart from the last 20 minutes when he did change it, they were very comfortable, Everton. At the back.
They were.
Yeah,
I think what we should have done, we should have moved. I mean, he's done well for us, but to me, he's not the greatest. But he did well for Odegaard. Should have scored. Eddie did brilliantly for Odegaard's chance, and Odegaard should have done better for that. I'm sorry.
He should have done.
Right, that's number one. But I'll take that out of the equation. Eddie didn't get the ball. He wasn't in the game. It may not
he wasn't in the game.
But that was what was happening. Their centre half could have had a cigar on, right?
Yeah. He was isolated, Melvin.
Of course he was, I know. But what I'm saying is, why don't we do it where we got Martinelli, Trossard and Saka, just change the wings.
Close together.
One of them inside, play Martinelli inside for a bit and Trossard on the side.
Change it up.
Trossard on the middle. Just get the ball moving around on the pitch.
Arteta won't do that. He's too inflexible. He's got that one way of playing. I personally would have moved, instead of taking Martinelli off to bring Trossard on, which is what he did
to the middle.
I would have moved Martinelli to centre forward and took Eddie off, because Eddie did nothing in that game. That's what he should have done. That's what a manager who can think about other ways to play. Let's do something different. Let's try something different, because that wasn't working. It wasn't working. Trossard came on and he did okay, but it didn't change anything, did it? It didn't change anything. It was just, he did like for like substitution, didn't he? He took Odegaard off, put Vieira on. They're exactly the same player, just Odegaard's better.
I think that was because that wasn't technical, Richard. I think Odegaard had a knock. Perhaps.
Did he? Well, okay, maybe he did. I mean, he got bullied all game, to be fair. I mean, he took Ben White off, put Tomiyasu on, like for like change. He took off Partey and put Jorginho on, a like for like. He didn't change anything to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, we were clearly struggling, right? I mean, for me, radical, I mean, going towards what Melvin said, I'd have been tempted to have kind of almost like 2 in the middle. Eddie, I would have maybe kept Eddie on and maybe moved Martinelli into the middle, and Saka out that side. Yeah. Maybe had what's his name? Tierney on the bench. He was, wasn't he?
Yes.
Tierney at left back and Zinchenko pushing up as like the left winger, and almost having 2 people in the middle. I know you're thinking, well, that ain't our best position. No, it isn't our best setup. No, it isn't. But plan A definitely ain't working. So maybe we have 2 in the middle.
Try
Then suddenly
something
them defenders are thinking, right.
Listen,
So now
no,
we've still got Eddie to deal with, and now we've got Martinelli in the middle. I don't want to give a penalty away. We're on top, but it needs that radical change.
You're right what you say, because whatever he would have changed it to, and if he'd changed it like that, we wouldn't have scored less goals than nil, would we?
No,
no,
exactly. No, you've got to gamble a little bit sometimes.
I just think Arteta's got 1,000,000% belief in the way that he wants to play, and he believes that will get him results in every single match, and he doesn't want to change it because he doesn't. He's got that belief, and that's all he wants to do is play that way. And it's worked pretty much most of the season. So you've got to say, fair play to him, it has worked. But in the games when it doesn't work, and there are games when it isn't going to work, you've got to have some sort of, you've got to have a different approach to be able to get a result. I mean, today a draw wouldn't have been a disaster. Let's be honest.
No, it would have been fine.
In that last 10 minutes and got a draw out of the game, I think we'd have been okay, fair enough. If we didn't play particularly well, difficult game, difficult circumstances, and we got a draw away from home, we'll take that. But to lose that game in the way that we did without really making substitutions but not changing anything, and that's something that I've done too often for me. When things need to be changed, you've got to try to change it. Do something a little bit different. Everton had a game plan, and we played into their hands a little bit in the second half. I got long balls into the box, them 2 centre halves all day long. Lovely. Thank you very much. All day long, not a problem at all. And we kept doing it. We kept doing it. Last 5 minutes, we still kept doing it. It's like, come on, that is not going to work. We're not going to score against Everton playing it like that. We're not. We need to try something different. And we've had a few people in the chat. We've got Nathan in there. He says, "Hi, I hope you're well. Did not have a chance to watch the game. We didn't miss much from an Arsenal perspective." He said, "What happened?" Well, we just didn't really turn up. We got bullied all over the pitch. Got kicked about, and we lost. So there you go.
It was a throwback.
It was. He says, "Afternoon, Richard. I apologise. Now Arteta cost us the game today, in my opinion. Well, he certainly played a big part in the result at the end." He says, "Afternoon, Magic Melvin." He says as well, Eddie and White off, Trossard and Tommy on. They were the sort of substitutions at half time that we maybe looked at. Terry said, "Why did he take Martinelli?" I don't think Partey was fit, to be fair. I'm not sure why he took Martinelli off, because he didn't want to change the shape of the team. That's why, quite clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got Alfie in as well. He says, "Hi." Terry says there, why did he take Martinelli and Partey off? Just so he could play his pal Jorginho. I'm going back to Arteta and Edu. I can't see us winning nothing under this mob. No plan B. Well, there isn't no plan B. I mean, let's try and keep some perspective. We are still top of the league. We have been playing well. Today wasn't a great performance, and yes, we do need to be a little bit more flexible in these moments and make those changes. But I mean, I thought Jorginho did all right when he came on. Actually, I thought he had
I thought he was a little bit near our penalty box. I thought he looked a bit weak, to be quite honest with you, to be quite critical once or twice. But then he got a couple of 50-50 balls, and they weren't great, and he didn't quite win them. But I think going forward, he looks terrific. If he's going to play in the same role at any stage that Xhaka plays, he'd be a boon to us. I really do. I think. Yeah,
no, I don't think we can, worry too much about it. I thought he did
going back.
Today.
2 points I'd like to make. Going back to Martinelli, after his first run against Coleman, he just got beat by Coleman.
Yeah.
And he didn't take him on a game once on the outside. Not once.
He's done that. He's done that a lot, Melvin. He has done that a lot. In a lot of the games, especially at home, he's mustered, but I think it's when we switched to an away game, unless he gets any joy, I think he done it against Man U. He kind of gave up and just started giving the ball back. You kind of got to be relentless, and you kind of got to be brave and just keep going for it. Especially playing against a 34-year-old, 34. So he's got him for pace. He's rapid, Martinelli. So I mean, what does drive me mad? I mean, again, some of the players have got to take responsibility as well as the manager. I definitely think the manager's at fault for not changing it, as we said. But just little things like we're fixated in our head, and maybe because they've been drilled that way, they go to the side, and try and work it down the wings. But try and mix it up like Shevchenko did. I think he's the only one who tries to play the ball forward and try. We had people on the edge of the box, Eddie, a couple of times, and Martinelli was making a run, and they just don't want to do that forward ball. They're continually trying to go out to the outside and then down the side, not just play it forward. Sometimes if there's a man on the edge of the box, right, they never seem to play that simple ball. Maybe they're thinking that Eddie can't turn. I don't know, but it's just the same thing. It's just the same approach every time. It's a bit,
what we did as well, he does it very well, Saka. He did it first half very well. Is that they hug the touchline. I can understand that making the pitch wider,
bigger.
But when you've got Coleman, who is very good on the outside, why don't he come in a bit? Why don't he just come in 5 yards
and then slip him in?
Coleman's got something to think about. When he goes on my inside, I'm struggling. You can't do it. If he's you're basically he can see what Coleman could do, and he did it so many times. Is stop him, just keep him by the touchline, and he can't do anything. You know.
No.
That's
You're right.
Also, thing you touched on before, and it seems, is it confidence or what? Self-belief. But not one of our shots was on target.
No, not one. About 7 or 8. 7 or 8. Yeah.
Quite a few
we did.
Shots on target. Really. What's all that about? Over the bar and flipping it. I mean,
terrible.
It was shocking. I think the only save he made, he didn't even make the save when they got kicked one off the line, but that was like a miss it from Saka as well.
Trossard had a shot, didn't he? That he kind of he fumbled, it bounced out, and they cleared. Trossard cut in, but even from him, there was no kind of belief, was there? And just our most technical players, Zinchenko and Odegaard, blasting it over the bar. You know what I mean? Twice, I think, one of them. It was just poor.
You know what I mean? The funny thing, Lee, I think there is a bit of nervousness with Odegaard. I think he's very good. He's terrific. But when he had that chance, you can see a defender was coming across his sight, and that's why he probably snatched it a bit. Had he was me sitting in my armchair, but a player of his quality, if he'd stopped the ball, moved inside onto his right side, had the whole penalty area to himself.
Yeah. Why didn't he do that? Rather than snatching it.
I wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done it. I'm Richard. But a man of that quality.
We're not paid 200 grand a week, Melvin. So we're excused.
I could have thought about it. I
definitely would have thought about it. Yeah.
I thought that. I was cut inside, mate.
Yeah. Russ says I couldn't believe what I was. I mean, Russ says I can't believe what I was seeing. Yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of felt a bit like that today. Grafika says they're the biggest.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Partey wasn't fit though. Martinelli, maybe, but Partey wasn't fit. I don't think, and I think that was why he went off when he did. I don't think it was about being hasty with that one necessarily. Yeah, maybe Martinelli. I agree.
I did think when I was going to come on, I was writing down notes, things to say. Whether it wasn't a massive error, but I did think it was a bit like against a throwback to United. We about 60 minutes, we seemed to start getting into the game, and Odegaard was starting to have a bit of joy. Right, so maybe he did. It was maybe 10 minutes too early. 20 odd minutes is probably enough for a sub to have an impact. 60 minutes, I did feel it was a bit earlier. Maybe another 10 with the same players. Martinelli, something would have happened, but it's all ifs and buts, isn't it?
It is. I mean,
it would have made no difference. It would have made no difference.
Probably not.
None of us could shoot.
No, it probably wouldn't have done. I didn't get the feeling we were going to score today if we played till Christmas. Loki says we got what was coming. Lucky it was only 1-0. Yeah, to a certain degree, you're probably right. I mean, we did kind of get what we deserved today, which was pretty much.
We could have been 2-0 down at half time, Rich. They did have two very good chances, didn't they?
Very good chances, And Terry says our best chance today was created by Everton, back pass and a cock up by the keeper. Well, I suppose it was really. That was probably our best chance.
That wasn't a foul. That wasn't a foul. The ref gave.
No, it wasn't a foul. No.
I'll tell you what, it's so bad. I had to make a big decision today. After 5 minutes, I realised I don't know what to do. The commentary on BT Sport is so bad.
Yeah.
And so ridiculous. That I turned it down, but I wanted to get a bit of atmosphere with the crowd. So I was turning it on for 5 minutes. Do I have to listen to them turning it off again? No, I'm missing the crowd.
It was only the Everton fans you could hear anyway, Melvin, in the crowd. I mean, they were loud today, weren't they, the Everton fans? I mean, that probably helped them as well, the atmosphere. And I was worried about today anyway because of the Sean Dyche effect. You know, he's done similar things against us previously at Burnley, and you kind of saw this coming. You know, kind of agree with what Loki said. This was sort of coming today. The early kickoff as well. I said that before. We don't tend to. That tends to be a weak spot for us, doesn't it? The early kickoff on a Saturday, especially when we're away in the northwest. We've lost a few games on a Saturday early afternoon, and I say with everything that went on today. we needed to stand up to that today, and we needed to be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we wasn't ready for what we got, but we didn't appear to be able to deal with it, and that is a bit of a worry for me, because I think a lot of teams now that we've got between now and the end of the season are going to come at us, and they're going to get in our faces. They're going to stop us getting into our rhythm, and that's what Everton did well today. I thought their midfield, but I mean, our midfield's been brilliant, hasn't it? I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
you know,
it's been brilliant.
Martin Odegaard and Granit Xhaka have been brilliant this season. Those three have dominated games, but today it was the other way around, wasn't it? It was Everton's three in midfield.
They were dominating them,
brilliant today. And Terry says you would have been better turning the TV off, Melvin. Yeah, you probably would have been. Maybe you wouldn't have missed a lot, would you? Let's be honest. Terry also says there, free transfer windows to solve the defensive midfield problem, and we still haven't. Well, we sort of have. I mean, obviously we've got Jorginho in, and he's an upgrade on what we had before. So I think
I think we have.
Say what we haven't done, and it doesn't suit our football. But if you're looking for a plan B, we need a 6'14" centre forward to just throw on.
Yeah. We do 100%.
Today,
a big whole strike player.
Giroud. Get back.
Yeah, I think Giroud maybe is a bit past it now. Although I still don't think he's a decent player, but yeah, I mean, we do. But yeah, you're right, though, Melvin. That as much as we would like that, that's not what Arteta wants at all. He doesn't want to play that way. He wants to play the same way of playing, and that's it. He's not going to change. Doesn't matter whether we're winning a game, whether we're losing a game. The only thing he didn't do today was bring Rob Holding on with 5 minutes to go, like he normally does, and that was because I'm surprised he didn't throw Rob Holding up front actually for 5 minutes at the end. Well, at least that would have been showing something rather than just bringing Tommy Aspinall to play right back instead of Ben White.
Rich, that was my point about. That was my point about being a bit braver and having two in the middle, and just changing it up and having Martinelli and Eddie straight down the middle. We still could have had width with Zinni out on the left and Saka on the right. We could have given him something to think about. But you're right, he's just not that type of manager. I mean, if Arteta come on your show, he'd sit and he'd say, "Well, Rich, what do you want, mate? We're top of the league, right?
Of course he would.
And we've done X, Y, Z. But it's just we still haven't. It's only gone well for us when Plan A has worked, right? That's a fact.
Yeah.
When Plan A hasn't worked, then it goes Pete Tom. But then you'd say, okay, well, more often than not, it's working. So why wouldn't you keep persevering? Worry is, as we go into the second half of the season, and these players ain't quite got the snap, right? If you haven't got the snap, which we never, we're missing that 5% across 6 or 7 players, then the performance, the Plan A, ain't going to work.
No, but I mean, if Arteta was on the show now and he said, well, you know, we're top of the league with Plan A, I'd say, yes, we are. But there's going to be some games where Plan A isn't working. So you need something else in those games. I'm not saying play a different system every single game. No, play the way you want to play. Mix it up. You've got to be able to mix it up in certain games, in certain circumstances. And that's what we're not doing. We've never done that under Arteta because that's not what he wants to do. And as Mark he says in the chat there, it doesn't appear Arteta wants a plan B like that, Melvin. No, he doesn't want a plan B. He doesn't want a plan B at all. All he wants to do is just tweak plan A. And it's worked. This season it's worked. For the most part of this season it has worked. But now I'm starting to get the feeling that perhaps the players are slightly running out of legs a little bit. Certain players are, because we've played the same starting 11 week in, week out now for months. And yes, we've now got some better backups on the bench. The new signings are giving us an option. Are we going to get to the point where Mikel Arteta is going to start playing these from the start? Is he going to start starting Trossard?
I was going to say that Trossard next season.
Is he going to start Jorginho in games now, just to rotate and rest players? Because we need.
And Tommy should be playing.
Tommy should be playing. Of course he should. He should be starting games now. 100%, he should be starting games at right back.
I'd give Rich. I'd give. I mean, if I was the manager, which I ain't like the money, but I'd be starting Trossard next game, and Tommy for Ben White. Right, Martin, just give him a rest. Partey, not 100%. You could 50-50 on Partey. I think I'd tend to keep him in, but he may be a game or two away from having a little rest himself. Maybe do that. Bring Trossard in, bring Tommy in, and then maybe next game. Give Partey a rest, or I mean, you got to mix it up. We've got decent backups now, haven't we? As I say, he's solid. Tommy's solid, and he would have been just the type of player actually to play today, Tommy, in that environment.
He would have been.
But he would have been. But
see, now this just goes to show maybe a slight lack of forward thinking by the manager. You know we're playing Everton. You know it's Sean Dyche is coming. You know how Sean Dyche wants to play. You knew how they would say. I knew how they were going to play before we started. So Arteta must have known. It's almost like he didn't care how they were going to play. We're just going to play our lovely little football, and it's going to work because it's worked in 19 games this season, or 16 of the 19 games that we played. So let's just keep doing that, rather than thinking actually Everton are going to play this way. We need to counteract that as well as play our game. You've got to
fire with fire, Richard. Fire with fire.
Yeah. You've got to earn the right, haven't you, to play your football? You've got to earn the right, and we didn't today.
You do. It's
just to add on to that. Sorry, just to add on to that. However well I thought Saka played, I thought he did play well. He had no support from Ben White at all.
No, he didn't.
Tommy played first half. Those little moves might have actually come to something.
If Tommy was on, if Tommy was on. Yeah,
he was always 100%. Up against it, wasn't he? He always had at least two players. And when you've got that out ball, and some of the games at home, Ben White's pushed right up, but he's obviously worried about them breaking on us, I guess. But again, it never helps. I almost think in games like that, maybe we got to sit back a bit and let them come at us, and we look dangerous when we pick the ball up deep, don't we? Right, and that's sometimes maybe go right. We're getting nowhere. We're doing a normal side to side, 25 minutes. Let's sit back. Let's let them. Let's see what they've got, and then we can spring. We don't do that. We don't want something, and we look dangerous. But
no, you're right. Terry says, I'll soon have El Neni. At least he gives his all. I didn't even hear Jorginho's name mentioned apart from when he came on. Well, no, but Jorginho just did the job he was brought on to do. He wasn't there. He wasn't there to run past six players and shoot into the top corner, was he? He wasn't brought on for that reason.
No.
He was brought in to keep that midfield ticking over, and I thought he did that okay. I'm not saying he was brilliant. He did all right. He did all right. For his first game, he's only been at the club a few days, and he wouldn't have had many training sessions. He came in and he did all right. It wasn't easy. I thought he did okay. Neil's in the chat with him, my friend. He says, evening lads, very disappointing, but teams have won titles with more losses. Of course. I'm sure we'll bounce back. But we're confused by the subs today. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all a little bit confused by the subs today to a certain degree. Certainly the subs in the late sort of 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes of the game, we wanted to try and get something back in it. Terry says, you can't tell me we improved when Jorginho came on, surely. No, we're not saying we necessarily improved. No. That there wasn't really, I mean, bringing Jorginho on isn't going to, in the
circumstances. It's not really a game changer, is it? It's not a game changer.
He wasn't a game changer. That's not what he was brought on for. He was brought on to keep that midfield ticking over and to.
Exactly, solid.
We needed a player to come on in that area, didn't we? That was all.
Yeah.
Terry says, "Good afternoon, Neil. Make me feel better, mate. My eyes are still hurting." Well, I think our eyes are all hurting. Mark C says, "Everton midfield closed down Ødegaard and closed down all the midfield space."
Too many blow past.
Putting D-grade performances today. We didn't play to our normal standard. Well, no, we didn't play to our normal standard, and I agree the midfield was key, but that was more down to the way Everton played in midfield rather than maybe one or two of our players weren't at their best today. I agree.
No, Xhaka was all right, Rich, when Xhaka was pretty solid. He didn't really dip. He may have dropped down to like an A+ or a B, but there were C's across the pitch. 7 or 8, 9 players were at C, and that was the problem. It's just as you say, it's just they can't keep that intensity up, and the minute they've dropped away at a place like Everton, and then we're kind of banging trouble a little bit. And we
even if the manager thought to himself, "There's no way on earth, whatever happens, I'm taking Eddie off. I'm not doing it. It's my religion. I can't do it."
Yeah.
Why not switch to 2 wingers?
Yeah. Exactly.
On the natural side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because give the fullback something to think about.
Yeah. Well, even at a lower level of football, Melvin, you do that. The man I played on the wing, and you always give the other bloke a go. He knows what you're going to do now. Swap it up, right? Yeah. So especially it goes to their natural side. So it's the obvious thing to do, but he's got to be a bit more flexible. He definitely has got to be a bit more flexible going forward because it's going to be a testing last 18 games now.
Oh, here we go. Look, just as we say that, Steve's in the chat there. He says, our wingers were doubled up on. I would have liked Gabby and Saka to swap wings to mix it up. Exactly. Also, space would have been elsewhere. We didn't expose it. Steve says, I was just typing it. Yeah, it's just funny how that came up at the same time that you put that comment in. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Just do something different, whatever it was.
Yeah, anything, literally anything.
Yeah. We're 1-0 down away from home in a game that we need to get a result because of how close the league's going to be. It certainly is. Yeah. So why not try something different? It wasn't working. Just try it for 10 minutes.
No,
Move them for 10
They
minutes.
were too
Something.
comfortable. The two centre halves were too comfortable.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
they
Miles
were.
too comfortable. Yeah, of course they were. And you know, they're good. They've got limitations, their two centre halves, Everton's, but we played straight into their hands and we didn't expose their weaknesses, did we?
We have.
Just
I know we
made
have.
it easy for them.
Rich, I know we ain't got massive strength in depth, right? But we've still got the personnel on that pitch, right? To do, as we said, we're not asking him to put the keeper up front. Maybe Odegaard, stick Odegaard right up front, right? When you got a player, when you're you're lumbering centre half, and you got someone who can move the ball from one foot to another one quickly, you're terrified you're going to trip him up, right? So even that, anything. I mean, stick Odegaard bang up front, anything at all. We're not asking for anything that's overly radical, but we sound like we're having a real moan, but it's just to us
Frustrating.
you guys frustrating. You guys been watching the game a long time, and it's just you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just change it up, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know, it maybe does sound like we're winning a lot. And you know, we've our first defeat in the league since October, so you know it's been a long time. And although having said that, now we've lost 2 games in a row without scoring. But anyway, Mark Lee says we've played a lot of Rolls Royce football so far this season. We were bound to throw in a duff performance at some point. Yeah, we were, and I agree. But the Rolls Royce football isn't always going to work. You can't play Rolls Royce football for 38 games in a season and it's going to work every single game. It's not. It's just not going to happen. It just doesn't happen. And you've got to, when it doesn't happen on those games like today, you know, I'm not saying we necessarily would have won the game or got a draw, but at least try something different in the last 10 or 15 minutes to see if we can get a result. And we may have lost anyway, but at least we tried something different. And I think I'd have felt happier in the circumstances if we'd done that rather than just keep playing the same thing.
Roll the dice.
Yeah, do something. And if we'd lost 2-0 because maybe we took a risk, we took a gamble, and we lost 2-0, they got a second goal on the break, you think, okay, at least we were trying to do something to get back into the game rather than just keep going. I don't know.
I mean, Rich, the prime example for our plan A, again, sound like we're having a moan, we're just trying to be objective. It's our team we care about. Is Newcastle at home when Tommy came on, and we still played the same way. I mean, oh God, it was just like, surely we went. I don't remember. We changed maybe the personnel, but it was just the same way, wasn't it, against Newcastle?
Yeah, but that's what happened today. You changed the personnel, but it was just like for like changes. It wasn't doing anything different. It was just exactly the same. And it's like because it's worked so often this season. It's maybe easy to think, well, it's going to work again because it's worked every time. Yeah. And maybe that's why. And maybe if it doesn't work for 2 or 3 games, then maybe he will have a plan B. Then okay, we will have to do something different now because it isn't working anymore. Perhaps I don't know, but I would have loved to have seen just something a little bit different today in the last, I'd say certainly last 15-20 minutes. We had players on the bench. We could have changed things. We could have changed things tactically slightly. Adjusted a few little tweaks here and there. May have made a difference. It may have done. It may not have done because Everton did play well today. Everton were bang up for that game. And it would have been tough for anybody to go there today.
I mean,
the timing of the game was bad for us, I think, as well, which didn't help.
No, say small things change things. Eddie buried that very good chance, right? Which it was 1-on-1 with the keeper. It wasn't a great angle, but that was a good chance. Then could have been completely different. They would have had to come out. Could have won 3-0. It's all academic.
But what I don't understand, Lee, if you're a centre forward and if you're a natural goal scorer, the obvious thing would be from that angle that he was at, hit it across the goalkeeper.
How did he hit it
that side? I mean, they're a million miles wide anyway. But
he's trying to smash it in the top. He's trying to smash it in that above the goalkeeper into the high part of the net. But as you say, you go across the goalkeeper. The chances are he spills it anyway.
You get better contact on it as well.
You do get a better contact, but Eddie's got no left foot, is he? I'm just trying to think. Not really.
No, but it was the right foot. It was on his correct foot, Lee.
I'm just thinking if he's coming in from the right hand side and he can maybe open his body up and use his left, but it probably didn't lend itself to that.
No, I don't mind him using his right, but the idea was hit it across
him.
Yeah,
you're right.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, he's gone for the 1 in 10 finish. I mean, that they do go in 1 in 10 times.
Yeah, we weren't going to have 20 chances, Oli, were we today?
No.
No, exactly.
No.
And I kind of agree. You know, Terry says there as well. He says, "Spot on, Melvin. Eddie can't do it week in, week out. Not in the Premier League. He can't. No, he's all right here and there, isn't he? And he can come off the bench sometimes. He might grab a goal, and he may have 2 or 3 games where he scores a couple of goals. But if we said this at the start of the season, if we've got to rely on Eddie to play 10, 15 games in the Premier League, it's not good enough to give us what we need in those sort of games. And I think that's every game now is getting even more obvious. He scored 2 goals against Man United. Everybody's going, "Oh, he scored 2 goals against Man U. He's a great player." Well, no, he did score 2 goals against Man U. Fair play to him, but you've got to look at the bigger picture. Is he good enough for over 10, 15 games? No, he's not. And you saw it today. You saw it today. He's not at that level that we need, unfortunately. And the sooner Jesus is back, the better. That's all we can say on that. Now we did buy another striker in the window. We had an opportunity to maybe get one in, we didn't. And you know, we've got Eddie now until
for another month, maybe.
Potentially, and a month of big, very, very big, important games as well. And Eddie's got to step up, and I don't think he's quite good enough to do that, unfortunately. You know, and that's nothing against him.
Go on, Melvin. Big gamble. I know it's a different league, but it doesn't mean he's no good. But to me, as an all-round player, I know he didn't play well when he started for us, and that's why he's gone on loan. But having Balogun, I felt he's got more presence about.
He's got more physical presence about him. Definitely. Yeah. He actually reminds me a little bit, and I know it's different era and stuff like that. It reminds me a little bit of Kevin Campbell, actually. Balogun does. He's that type of style of striker, isn't he? And you know, obviously Kevin Campbell scored a lot of goals for Arsenal, and you know, Balogun is doing really well in the French league. And yes, it is the French league, and let's not, you know, think that automatically means he'll come into the Premier League and score 20 goals, because that's not how it works. But he's doing well. His confidence is up. And, you know, looking back on it now, would he be a better option for the run into the season than Eddie? We don't know. I think he's better off where he is for the time being. Get him through the season, and then he'll come back next year, and hopefully he'll be ready to step into the squad next season as a backup.
But I'm talking about for the rest of this season. I think he's an option. We haven't got an option. That's the thing.
Well, no, you're right. He would be an option, but I'm not sure whether we can get him back anyway.
Not now. I think it's not now.
No, but I don't think we could have anyway. I think maybe the agreement with a loan deal. I don't know, but anyway.
So, we're changing the subject slightly, fellas. We're back in that old that well-worn space of hoping Spurs are going to do us a favour, and they never do.
They've actually got a very good record against Man City, you know. They have got a really good record against them.
I know. We fought that at half time, didn't we, in that game the other week when they were
2-0 up. Yeah, we did, yeah. But they do have a good record against Man City, and if anybody can get a result against Man City, it does seem to be Spurs more often than not. But I don't know how they do it, because they can't get a result against anyone else, but they do seem to be able to pull something out against Man City. So you never know.
You never know, mate.
They may do us a favour, but well, let's not rely on it. We don't want to be relying on Tottenham to help us do it. Let's be honest. We want to do things ourselves. We want to be able to do it ourselves and not have to hope that they can do something. But anyway,
Melvin, Rich, can I just ask Melvin a question? Melvin, of course, behind you on the wall, I've been trying to get a Arsenal versus Man United program 58 at Highbury. Is that what you've got on your wall in that picture?
Is that
the Man U game, the one to the right, or either of those old ones? No, the two, the ones in the middle. Yeah, that one or the one to the other
Chelsea,
side.
55. That's Tottenham 61. That's United, 58. 52.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I thought that because they played at. I remember when I was a kid, when I went over in the early '80s, same as Rich. And I remember looking at some of the old games, and they showed Man United beating Arsenal 5-4. It was a week before they. Before
the crash.
Yeah, I was young. Yeah, week before the crash. The last time Duncan Edwards and that team played in England, wasn't it?
My father and my uncle went to that game, and they've obviously must have got a program, and I've got loads of programs in my, and I've gone through them all. I can't find that one.
No.
Be worth a fortune, that, you know. Be worth an absolute fortune.
Yeah, whatever state it's in.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in decent condition, that'll be worth like so much money. Man United fans will buy that all day long.
Of course, they would.
but yeah, no, that was a memorable game for anybody that was there. Obviously, I wasn't even born then, unfortunately, so I missed it. But it would have been a great occasion to have been at, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mark says, what is the latest on Jesus coming back in? Well, he's sort of on recovery, isn't he? But I think he's still going to be a while till he's back playing in the team again. I think it's going to be
a month at
probably
least.
The end of February, maybe at the earliest, if we're lucky. Maybe we'll see. But we're going to look forward to having him back, obviously. But we've got a lot of big games between now and then to get through, and we've got to do better than we did today. Otherwise, things can change very quickly in football. And although we've still got an advantage, we've got a game in hand. We are still. Actually, no, we don't have a game in hand right at this moment, do we? We level on games with 5 points ahead, but they play tomorrow. That will be sort of they'll play the game more then. But if they do win tomorrow, Man City, then the lead's 2 points, and suddenly it looks not quite as rosy as it
rosy.
Does. It could have been 8 points today, which would have been amazing, wouldn't it? And tomorrow it could be 2 points. So it's how quickly things can change. And we knew that anyway, and I wasn't getting too carried away.
No way.
Halfway stage of the season, there's so many games left to play. But what's important now? Neil did mention it earlier in the chat, actually, and he's right. It's how we bounce back from this. Now we've lost 2 games in a row without scoring, and that's a little bit of a worry. And we do need to bounce back quickly now in our next game next week and get on another roll quickly, because coming up very, very soon is Man City at home. And that is going to be that now. Potentially we could go into that game. There might just be that 2 point gap, and that game could change everything. If they come to the Emirates and win, they go top, and things change. The momentum changes, doesn't it? So we do need to bounce back from this, and we need to bounce back quickly in the next game at home to Brentford, isn't it? So we've got to win that game, and Brentford are a decent team. They are a good team.
No mugs. They're no mugs.
It's going to be tough, and we do need to bounce back, because if we go into that Man City game on the back of 3 defeats in a row, then that is a worry, isn't it? That could be a big problem, or even 3 games without a win if you don't beat Brentford. That would be a problem. But ultimately, what we've got to do is, I think we need to. It's got to be, this sort of performance has got to be the exception, hasn't it? We're going to get the odd game here and there. We've had 1 or 2 already this season in different competitions where maybe we haven't quite reached the level that we expect. And today was one of them games. But what's important now is that this doesn't become the old Arsenal in the next few games. We've got to quickly bounce back. We've got to get that momentum built up again.
We can. We can.
We can. Of course, we've done it. But we spoke, didn't we, a few weeks ago, Lee, about the mentality of the team and the mentality of this group of players and stuff like that. And they had kind of shown that, winning away at Spurs in difficult game to play. We played well that day. We beat Man United last minute. That's showing good mentality. That really is. And today we needed that same mentality, and we didn't have it today. And that's something that hopefully is a one-off. Let's hope it is, because it has to be, because we can't keep dropping into that kind of trap again. And I do think we have to understand the circumstances of that game today were very, very difficult for us. We're not going to be playing a team with a new manager every week. The crowd like that, so up for it, and they were so fired up, Everton, today. You could see how fired up they were. And yes, we needed to deal with all that better. Obviously, we needed to, but the circumstances of that game isn't something that we're going to experience very often. And we need to maybe understand that. We needed to deal with it better, but it's done. We've lost the game. We can't do anything about that now. Yes, there were mistakes made by some of the players, by possibly the manager, with substitutions and not changing things enough and all that kind of stuff. And we just got to put that behind us now and say, right, okay, Saturday, Brentford at home, we've got to go again. We've got to win that game.
Go again. Win the game.
And
get the 3 points,
get on the run again. That's what we've got to do. I mean, I think the second half of the season is going to be totally different to the first half of the season. As Mark put in the chat before, we've played all that Rolls-Royce football in the first half of the season. That probably isn't going to happen very often in the second half. It's
harder to do. It's just harder to do, isn't it?
Of course it is. The pressure's on. It's easier to win games in the first half of the season. In the second half of the season, when the pressure's on, that's when it's much more difficult. And this is where you've maybe got to scrape through a 1-0 here and there. You've got to, dig in, and you've got to, find a way to get results. You know, without playing that football, without being able to play that football, you've still got to find a way. And we're going to have to start doing this in the second half of the season. It might not be quite as pretty the second half. I'm expecting it's not going to be.
We want some ugly 1-0s, don't we? Ugly.
We do. That's what we need. We need a
centre half headers. Gabriel and Saliba header. Scrambled goal. We haven't had a lot of that, have we? But we need
not a lot.
That's exactly what we need. We need a bit of that. The Rolls Royce. Park up the Rolls Royce and get out the larder.
Nissan Micra. We need a Nissan Micra sometimes, just to
keep it in the garage, polish it, save it for City, maybe Liverpool away, because they'll try and play football as well, and then because we're going to have games at home where, like we did last, the 3 was it the 2 at home we drew or lost? We lost one, didn't we? Where teams are fighting relegation, just going to sit back. So
No, you're right, and we need to find ways to win a lot of these games, because we're going to have to win a lot of them, because we know from the last few years, Man City are capable of going and winning 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row at the end of the season. They do it every year, don't they? And we need to find a way to, we've got a slight advantage on them still, and we need to keep that advantage there, because we're going to need it, I'm sure.
We're going to need it.
We definitely are. But let's just hope it was a one-off today. It wasn't a great performance. We know that. We wasn't quite at it today. We got bullied. It was a bit, as Melvin said at the beginning, it was a bit of a throwback kind of performance from Arsenal, the sort of thing that we saw a lot of over the last 2 or 3 seasons, especially away from home. And it was a bit like that today. And I suppose maybe they're entitled to one once in a while of being slightly
they are. We'll give them that, Rich.
Maybe we'll give them today and say, you know what? You've been on a great run. You've been playing well. Today it didn't quite happen.
Forget it.
Let's dust ourselves down, put that away, and start again next week, and go and get back on another run again. And as long as we do that, then it'll be fine. But at this moment in time, it's like, are we going to, or is this going to be the start of the kind of the sort of second half collapse of the season that we used to see under Arsene Wenger quite a lot in his last sort of few years, when we went a proper Christmas and ended up in fourth.
2008, no, what, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, there was a few, wasn't there? I can remember.
There were a few,
You know what did me? The one that really, they all upset me, but one game in particular, when we drew away, I think it's a Birmingham 1-1.
Birmingham,
the injury to.
No, it wasn't. No, not the injury to Eduardo.
No. I remember that one. Melvin. Yeah,
the one where Phillips scored the equaliser.
Oh God, yeah.
In the last minute, our goalkeeper, what's his name? The Italian sounding name.
Oh God.
Armenia,
yeah.
Someone headed it, and he just pushed it up in the air instead of saving it all over the bar. As it come down, Phillips nodded it in the last minute.
Super Kevin Phillips. My old mate Melvin. I used to play in the same team as Kevin Phillips.
Really?
Yeah.
He was an Arsenal supporter, wasn't he?
He was an Arsenal fan. His dad was Arsenal. But obviously he was from Stevenage. Ended up playing for Watford. But he was he started off as a defender. Believe it or not.
Really?
For Southampton. And he was, I think he was a left back. I could be wrong, left or a right back, but they stuck him up front and started scoring goals for Baldock. Manager was Ian Anderson. There you go.
No.
Wow.
He was the manager, of Baldock. Yeah. He was
his
son's his son's still involved. He's involved in non-league football, I think, at Hendon. So my nephew was playing for Hendon, so he's very much involved still. But super Kevin Phillips. Striker.
He wasn't so super that day, though, was he, when he scored against?
Not for us. No, I couldn't believe it. I remember it now. I remember him scoring and thinking, I don't believe it.
I was in the pub watching that. I was in the pub, and he scored, and we were all over. I think it was Nasri might have scored.
Nasri scored for us, Nasri gave us the lead.
I don't know how I remember that. He scored, and then we're all over him. Only 1-0. We've been there before, and then near right at the end, they scored that goal. Went in and someone and banged the wall.
Oh no! Yeah.
No, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still getting over the Leeds one in '99.
I went to that.
What did you? That was
I was sitting behind David Seaman's mum in that game, that '99 one when we lost one. He saved a penalty in the first half, actually. David Seaman.
Forgot that.
that game that we lost 1-0 against Leeds, 99. Yeah, David
I don't
Stevens
remember
saved it.
that.
Yeah, Ian Hart had a penalty for Leeds in the second half, and
Blimey.
David Stevens saved it. And
We
then
had the French geezer who couldn't hit a barn door. He could hit the bar though. What was his name?
Diawara, Kaba
That's it.
Diawara.
Oh my god!
He hit
He
the
missed
bar
one
about
from
10
about 2
times, didn't
yards
he?
out.
Didn't Remy Gard play in that game? Was he caught at the back post?
No, it wasn't
that
the
was
Argentinian geezer.
Vivas.
Yeah, Vivas.
Oh, Vivas.
Nelson Vivas, yeah.
Nelson
It was,
Vivas.
yeah. Nigel Winterburn had got injured. I think in that game, he got a bad tackle on him and he got injured, had to go off. And Nelson Vivas came on for the last 10 minutes. And then it was him that basically went asleep from that cross into the box.
Yeah.
And Hasselbank scored, didn't he, right at the end, and Leeds won 1-0. Even a 0-0 draw would have won us the league, you know, and that goal we conceded.
Yeah.
Fellas, I have to go. I do apologise. I'm being.
All right, keep well, mate.
Keep well, Perry. Nice talking to you. And you,
Take it
Rich.
easy.
And you, Melvin.
Take
Take
it
it
easy.
easy. Same. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, mate. Speak to you later. Take it easy. That Leeds game, that was a draw, a 0-0 draw would have won the league again. But anyway, we lost 1-0. But we've done that so many times over the years, haven't we? We've been in good positions in sort of February, March time, and then it's all gone to shit, hasn't it? After that, so many times, and that kind of it still sticks in the back of my mind, and that's what I keep thinking this season is going to be the same. And today hasn't helped with that, obviously, because that's exactly what used to happen on a regular basis. So that's why it's so important now that next week we bounce back against Brentford.
Next 2 games, it's a big word in life, but if we win the next 2 games, today's nearly forgotten about.
Yeah, well, it will be. Yeah, I mean, if we beat Man City anyway, that would be, it's in our hands in a way. We've got to play them twice in the league, haven't we? So it's in our hands. If we get 4 points in them 2 games, we've mentioned that before, we'll be in such a good position, won't we, to push on and hopefully get it done. But it was a worry today. I didn't enjoy that performance at all, especially the second half. We just looked very disjointed. It didn't work. I don't know, Everton were well up for that game and they deserve to win, and fair play to them. But yeah, we needed to be better today. And let's hope that we learn from that. Terry says, we've done this last season, drew with Liverpool away and they stuffed us at home. City must be feeling a lot more confident now than what they did 3 hours ago. Well, I don't think City particularly bothered about what we do. They're just going to be concentrated on their matches, aren't they? They're just going to try and win as many games as they can. I don't think they're worried about us. They'd probably watch the game. I'm sure they're not playing till tomorrow, but it's, we can't worry what other teams do so much. We've got to concentrate on ourselves, haven't we? And today we didn't do that. Terry says, we need to play a false 9 again like we did in the Europa Cup semi-final when we needed to score and had no shots. Well, I thought that's what we were doing today. We needed to score and had no shots on target, didn't we? But anyway, I mean, let's just hope that this is just a one-off. It isn't the start of a poor run, because we can't afford one, let's be honest, with the situation in where we are in the league. Terry says we have to beat City at least once now. Well, yes, I think we had to anyway, regardless of the result today. And let's face it, as Lee mentioned before, maybe Spurs will do us a favour tomorrow. And then, if Spurs win, then we haven't lost any ground, have we? And we'll be in exactly the same position as we were at 12 o'clock today, just with 1 game less for City to play to catch us. So, it could end up being happy days. But yeah, it does feel a little bit of a missed opportunity today, but it's done. It's over and done with. We've lost the game. We can't change it. We just got to hope that we can regroup, bounce back quickly next week, and then hopefully we can get the result against City as well. But it isn't going to be easy. And it was never going to be easy. We're in a good position still, and we need to kind of remember that. Really, it's difficult sometimes. You watch performances like that and you think, oh my God, that was terrible. But we are still in a very good position, and we'd take where we are now. At the start of the season, to be in this position at this point in the season, we'd be more than happy, wouldn't we? So we just need to keep just try and keep a bit of perspective if we can. But it was really, really poor today. There's no getting away from that, is there?
No. Roll on next Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do. Next game. That's all we can worry about now. That's over and done with. And it was good to get our frustrations out of the way, I think, as well. Means we can get on and enjoy our weekend now, because we can. Well, yeah, try to. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but yeah. My team lost this morning as well. I went to play this morning and we lost 3-0, so it's not been a good day so far.
4 goals. No, didn't score any goals for.
Yeah, 4 again. So it's not been a good day for football for me so far. But anyway, it's not even 4 o'clock yet. But anyway, as Terry says there, come on, you Gooner girls, bring some pride back. Exactly. Tomorrow, the women are playing against West Ham. So hopefully we can end the weekend on a high. The women will get 3 points. And at least that will give us something to cheer this weekend because it's not been great. And maybe Tottenham will do us a favour. Not that we need to rely on anyone else.
I would have, but the best for me would be a draw.
Yeah, I mean, a draw would be nice. Let's be honest. City dropping points.
A draw would be brilliant.
Yeah, a draw wouldn't be too bad, would it? Let's see what happens with that one. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's we can't. The one thing we can't do is have any influence on any other team's results. We can only influence our own results, and that's what we need to focus on. And if other teams want to drop points and do us a favour as well, brilliant. We'll be happy with that, I'm sure. But we just need to worry about ourselves really. And the important thing now, as you said, Melvin, next Saturday, let's bounce back, get the 3 points against Brentford, and start again, yeah. And then we can get ready for the City game. But yeah, it wasn't great today, but these things happen. These things happen, don't they? We have to move on and, as you said, try and enjoy the rest of the weekend, which is not going to be easy probably, but we'll struggle on, I'm sure. At least the weather's not too bad for a change. So that's good. Anyway, thanks for joining us today, Melvin. Always great to see you. Wasn't the greatest game to talk about, though, was it? Unfortunately, but anyway, we can't help that, can we?
No. However much we pray, it doesn't always work. So let's see what happens next week now.
Exactly. Yeah. Have you got any news on the Highbury matters this week? Then?
Yeah, I know there's a game on Wednesday. The women are playing. I still want to do it. I think it suits the guy I've got on for Wednesday. So I still want to do it at 8 o'clock on Wednesday.
I don't know how that's going to work.
Oh, what you mean with the two? Oh, because you're doing a watch along.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't know that. Didn't know.
So I don't know.
Watch along as well. I thought just people might watch. Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do 2 different streams at the same time. Probably not.
Do you want to check? And if not, I'll have to get over the guy.
Because it's through the same. I mean, you can do it. I don't think you can do it earlier.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, or yeah, maybe 7 o'clock.
Or earlier. I'll see what the earliest time you can do. What time are you kicking off?
Actually, no. The game. I've just remembered. The game on Wednesday kicks off at 7:15, so it's early kickoff. So actually, that's not going to work, is it? I've just remembered that these kicks off early on Wednesday for some strange reason.
Thursday, I can't do it.
I mean, unless you do it after the game, it'll be finished by 9:15. That's a bit late, then, isn't it? That's the only thing. It'll be a bit late, I suppose. Plus, as well, it could go to extra time because it's a cup semi-final. Oh, that's a bit of a. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can't even do it early.
Let me know if you can't do 2, then I'll speak to the guy and see what we can rearrange.
I don't think it's going to work because it's using the same platform, isn't it, to stream them both? I don't think it won't work because.
All right, well, I'll have to do it the Wednesday week.
Yeah. When are we playing City? Isn't that not that Wednesday as well?
I don't know. Let's have a look.
I think City's the following Wednesday. I'm sure the next 2 Wednesdays there's games.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Can you not do it Tuesday or Thursday or something this week? Do you think? Or not?
Tuesday, might be able to do it Tuesday.
Right.
Tuesday. I think so. Hold on, I've got to see what my plans are. When's the coronation?
God knows.
So I might be invited to that, you see. So just make sure.
Well, yes, that's not till after the season's finished. So
I'll be all right then. I won't worry about coronation then.
I think it's in the summer, so we'll all be fine when we get invited to Buckingham Palace for all that kind of stuff. Terry says, cheers, Richard and Melvin. Don't feel any better, but chin up, lads, all in the chat. Have a great rest of your weekend. Yeah, and you, mate. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, Terry, anyway, for the women's game, I'm sure, which hopefully might cheer us up a little bit. I'm sure it will if we win, but we will have to see how that goes. Certainly don't want another defeat this weekend. It's starting to do me head in already. Yeah, if you can do Tuesday, Melvin.
Tuesday night might be a possibility.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'll speak to the guy, see if it is possible for him.
Yeah, okay. Well, let us know if you can. Tuesday works because there's nothing else on the channel. I don't know what's going on. So Tuesday would be great. So that will be good because it's a good one this week as well, isn't it? Because it's is it 88 to 90 period, isn't it?
88 to 90, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a little game that happened in that kind of period which people may remember.
Well, I'm just looking up, Richard, and I'm doing the research this morning. I spent a bit of time on it, and I can't find the last game of the season or where I know how we did in the FA Cup and League Cup. I can't find how we did in the league that season, but I'm sure I'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, I think I seem to remember, and I know, you know, my memory is not always where it was, but I seem to remember we had a little game against some team towards the end of the season that was quite important.
Well, I've been looking at all the games at the end of the season. I can't find any on Saturdays or Wednesdays or Tuesdays. I can't find it. So I don't know if we did have that last game or not.
I do remember. I think it was that same season we lost at home to Derby at the end of the season. That was quite disappointing, wasn't it? Do you remember
Derby and Wimbledon. We drew.
Well, Derby. I remember. I'll never forget this. Right, it's always stuck in my head ever since. We played Derby at home. It was officially the last Saturday of the season because obviously that season got extended, as we know. And Derby was 2-0 up. I think Dean
got penalty as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he got both goals, didn't he? And we were 2-0 down. We was into stoppage time at the end of the game, and I think we got a corner or a free kick, and Alan Smith scored a header, right? In like the 90th minute. And I remember saying to my mate, it was on the clock end, I said to my mate, I said, what an absolutely pointless goal that is. Scoring in the last minute of a game. What a pointless goal. What a waste of time. Why did you bother scoring? You know what I mean? Why didn't you score 10 minutes ago? It's no good scoring now. Totally pointless goal. And as it turned out, that goal actually was the most important goal of the whole season.
Yeah.
Almost. It was one of the most important goals of the whole season. Mark C says 88, 89, still my favourite. So I think it's all of our favourite ever seasons. Was it Dean Saunders? Oh, it might have been Dean Saunders, not Dean Sturridge. Yeah,
what did you say?
Dean Sturridge, I said it was Dean Saunders.
It was Saunders. It was Saunders.
Yeah, it was Dean Saunders. Yeah, that's right. He had a habit of scoring against us, didn't he? Actually, when whoever he played for, he always seemed to score against us, didn't he?
I went to the Wimbledon game as well. That was we were 2-1 up. We'd won that.
Yeah. And then they scored. Who was that little guy? It was a little substitute came on and scored, didn't he?
It was probably his only ever game. Probably he played for Wimbledon. I think it was probably the only time he touched the ball in his professional career.
He probably was, yeah. No one ever heard of him again, and he scored that goal that we thought at the time that was it. I remember going home from that game that night thinking that's it. We're never ever going to win the league again.
We all did, and they beat West Ham by about 4 or 5 goals.
5-1 the next day, yeah. They beat them 5-1, yeah. I'll never. That was that Wimbledon game. Was that when Nigel Winterburn scored his right foot in the top corner, and I was on a clock end that night. Everyone just went mental. That's one of the best goal celebrations ever at Highbury. That was just incredible. That everybody.
We were 1-0 down. They went 2-1 up. No, sorry, we were 1-0 down. We went 2-1 up.
We went 2-1 up. Yeah. Oh, it was crackers that. But I'll never forget that Alan Smith goal against Derby, thinking at the time, what a waste of time. No one bothered cheering. It was like pointless. I was actually angry that we'd scored. It's like, why are you scoring now in the 90th minute when we're 2-0 down? Why are you doing that? It's no point. Oh, dear. It turned out to be a good goal in the end. And Mark C says there's small things that season, but how important was Hayes' goal, the one to win at Bury? Yeah, it was. Another goal that,
Wasn't that? Didn't the goalkeeper make that goal? Our goalkeeper wasn't it a long kick or something?
Lukic booted it down the pitch, didn't he? Route 1 it was. I think the defender missed it, and Hayes just got in and just poked it past their keeper, didn't he? And it rolled in, and I
remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a mad.
I'm not talking about that season no more. I'm talking about it on Tuesday.
We'll do that on Tuesday. Mark, so he says Paul Miller, I think was a win. Was it? I don't think Paul Miller was the one who scored that goal.
No.
Paul Miller. I don't think it was.
First player. Paul Miller was a big centre half. Decent
player. No, I think he did play for Wimbledon, but I don't think it was him that scored that goal that night. That equaliser.
Little geezer.
It was a little guy who came on. He looked about 12 years old, and he obviously wasn't. And it was the only thing he ever did. Like he said, I think it's the only thing he ever did in his career. I can't remember his name. Yeah. Terry says, "Yes, Tuesday's good for me, Melvin. Just come back from working in Germany in 90. Oh, was you working in Germany? Well, we'll talk about 88 to 90, though. So it's going to be. It'll be a good couple of years that to talk about. So we look forward to hopefully Tuesday we can get that on.
I'll speak to the guy over the weekend.
Yeah, speak to him, see if we can get him on because Tuesday will be great because it'll help the week fly along as well if there's an extra show.
Another good guest I've got on. They've all been great, but another great one and good one this week. So.
Yeah, no, looking forward to that. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great show. That hopefully Tuesday, but we will let you know. Mark, so he says that it's a different Paul Miller, common name. Oh, right, okay. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure the guy wasn't called Paul Miller that scored that Wimbledon goal.
No,
I'll find out.
It wasn't Paul Miller. No.
No, I don't think it
was.
It
might have been a Paul Miller that played for Wimbledon.
Yeah, there was. I
Wasn't
think
the
there
guy
was a
that
Paul
scored.
Miller that played for Wimbledon. Yeah, I don't think he was the one who
I
scored that
wish,
goal.
I wishing to be rude. The guy is a million times better footballer than me, the guy that scored. But I think his name was non-entity.
It probably was. Yeah, I
No, but
just. You'd think we'd remember him forever because of that at the
exactly,
time
he could
how
have
much
cost
that goal
us.
hurt us. But I just can't remember. I can picture his face, and he was about 4'8", wasn't he? Little tiny
Yeah,
guy.
small, made me look tall. Yeah,
Yeah, he was tiny. And he's got that goal. And he's like, oh, cheers, mate, nice one.
thank you. Thanks very
Anyway,
much.
yeah, but it didn't matter in the end, did it? It just made it more fun at the end, didn't it? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
all
all
those
right.
things. It made it more fun, didn't it? Finally, it didn't feel like it at the time. So hopefully, yeah, we'll get that on Tuesday. I'm back tomorrow, of course, for the women's game. It's not starting until 7:15 in the evening, so I'll go live about 6:30. Arsenal women against West Ham. That's going to be good. So join us for that. Hopefully, Melvin's back on Tuesday with Highbury Matters, and obviously Wednesday the Arsenal women playing semi-final against Man City in the Continental Cup. So join us for that as well. Hopefully Steve and Adam will be back again on Thursday with the social extra as well. Friday we've got the women's show. Next weekend we've got watch-alongs galore. So it's all good fun. It's all happening. So please join us for all of that. Thank you to Melvin, of course, for today. As always, great to see you again, and hopefully enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks to Lee as well for coming on.
And everyone.
Yeah, we'll it is what it is. We'll survive. We're still top of the league, Melvin. We're still top of the league, so
Exactly.
we'll take solace in that for now.
Oh.
So join us tomorrow for the women's game, and hopefully next week will be slightly better. Next weekend will be slightly better for us, but we shall see. So anyway, in the meantime, come on, you Gunners, let's do it. Let's do it. Wasn't good today, but things, as Dean Ream once said, things can only get better, and I'm sure they will very, very soon. But join us tomorrow for the women. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching.
Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seems